أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. We start off by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending our peace and blessings upon our Master Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with beneficial knowledge and understanding and wisdom. We ask Allah to grant us sincerity in all our actions and all our sayings. We ask Allah to grant us istiqamah, which is steadfastness as well, because the journey is long. The journey of knowledge is long, and the journey of dunya is long, and the journey of iman is long. It's easy, it's not difficult, but it takes istiqamah, which is steadfastness. So we ask Allah to never let us fall after we've been guided. We ask Allah to keep our hearts firm, strong, and to grant us actions that bring us closer to Him, and to protect us from falling, because people fall every day. We ask Allah to keep us steadfast, grant us istiqamah, and to never deprive us of the masjid or settings of knowledge. We continue our Monday night classes on the science of Tazkiyah, and we have a really nice class today. Inshallah, it's going to be great. Like I say always in the beginning of the class, if anyone has to leave for whatever reason, it's okay. We love you. Just be easy. We understand that the classes can get late. So we have a good class today. We're excited. And this is the last chapter. We have a small chapter that we'll finish, and then we'll enter the last chapter, which is a long chapter in the second third of the book. We've been talking about the book being cut into three parts. The first third, as we mentioned multiple times, is abandoning negative habits, leaving off bad things, bad character traits such as backbiting, showing off, slander, useless talk, physical appetites, dunya, loving dunya, anger, material attachments, faults of speech, etc. We went over the first third of the book, and it took a long time. We went over it for a long time. Then we entered the second third of the book, I think 2 months before the summer season, and we continued with the second third of the book here about 2 months ago when we started back up here. And we're in the last 2 chapters of the second third of the book, and then the third third of the book, which will start 2 weeks from now, because this last chapter is long. It's going to take us 2 or 3 classes. The last third of the book is small. It's from page 199 to 235. So from 199 to 231. It's about 30 pages long, 32 pages. It's implementing acts of worship. So today's class is holding ourselves to account, or we could call it self-accountability. And the Arabic word for self-accountability, or holding yourself to account, is muhasabah. And this is a very strong notion that we all have to have. And then we're going to enter fulfilling the rights of others. And fulfilling the rights of others is a very long chapter. Fulfilling the rights of others is a very long chapter. And the author cuts it into a lot of subcategories. So we'll start with that one by fulfilling the rights of fellow believers. And the believers are men and women. There's mu'minat and mu'mineen. The believers are men and women. And your Muslim sister or your Muslim brother has a couple of rights on you, or has rights on you. And Islam is amazing. We're going to talk about that today in detail. And then the rights of our parents and the rights of our neighbors, etc. That's why this chapter is very long, fulfilling the rights of others. So we start off with self-accountability, aka muhasabah. And like I was saying, muhasabah is a deep topic in the science of tasawwuf, or tazkiyah, which we're in. Because every individual should hold himself into account. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he has a really beautiful hadith. And this hadith is often quoted at the time of a passing or a death or a funeral, because it's a very profound, strong hadith. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, الكيس من دان نفسه وعمل لما بعد الموت والعاجز من أتبع نفسه هواها وتمنى على الله الأماني. And I'll translate inshallah. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said in a beautiful hadith, الكيس من دان نفسه وعمل لما بعد الموت. The smart individual, الكيس, the intellectual, the one whose brain truly works, the one that has proper understanding, the one who's able to understand correctly. Man dana nafsahu is the one who constantly self-assessed himself. Man dana nafsahu, he constantly self-assessed himself. وَعَمِلَ لِمَا بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ. And this same person that's smart and he's constantly self-assessing, he worked for what was to come after death. And like I said, this hadith is usually quoted by imams at janazah or aza because it's a very profound hadith. The smart individual is the one who constantly self-assessed and he worked for what was to come after death. وَعَمِلَ لِمَا بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ. Then on the flip side, وَالْعَاجِزُ مَنْ أَتْبَعَ نَفْسَهُ هَوَاهَا وَتَمَنَّ عَلَى اللَّهِ الْأَمَانِ. In the incapable individual, or the person who doesn't have proper understanding, the one whose brain doesn't work or function properly as it should, but only iman grants your brain the ability to work properly. Al-ajizu, the incapable individual, man atba'a nafsahu hawaha, is the one that followed his desires. Man atba'a nafsahu, he just followed all his desires. Hawaha. Wa tamanna ala Allah al-amani, and he wished and he had an incorrect understanding. I'm going to translate it like this. And he had an incorrect understanding of the mercy of God. Because he thought to himself, I'll just do anything I want and God will forgive me. That's not how the mercy of Allah works. Of course, Allah is all merciful, of course. But you have to exert some effort. You have to do something for the mercy of God to work. Like you can't just say, oh, Allah is going to forgive me and you do haram. That's not how it works. So this hadith, again, the smart individual is the one who constantly self-assessed and he worked for what was to come after death. Yani he prepared for what was to come after death. He's smart because he understands that there's a hereafter. And he works for that. And the incapable individual, and the Prophet described this person as incapable because he's not able to understand or comprehend. And he also follows his desires. So it makes sense for the Prophet to call him incapable. Is the one who just followed his desires and he wished upon Allah an incorrect wish, or he thought that Allah would just forgive him for nothing. His understanding of the mercy of God was incorrect. Now, when this hadith is mentioned in hadith books, usually they give a saying or a narration attributed to Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab. The author here in this book, he starts off with this saying of Sayyidina Umar because it is the most famous quote or saying from anybody in this chapter or in this idea or notion of muhasaba, self-assessment, muhasaba, taking yourself into account. Like I said, this is a popular topic when it comes to the heart, when it comes to tasawwuf or tazkiyah. It's a popular topic when it comes to khutbahs, muhasaba, because everyone should prepare for death. It's a death talk, muhasaba talk, whatever you want to call it. So sometimes the scholars of hadith, after they mention the hadith that I just mentioned to you all of the Prophet, they mention the saying of Umar. Look what Sayyidina Umar says. قال عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه حاسبوا أنفسكم قبل أن تحاسبوا وزنوا أنفسكم قبل أن توزنوا فإنه أخف عليكم في الحساب غدا أن تحاسبوا أنفسكم اليوم وتزنوا للعرض الأكبر كذا الأكبر يومئذ تعرضون لا تخفى منكم خافية. Sayyidina Umar, he has this famous statement, this famous saying. He says, حاسبوا أنفسكم قبل أن تحاسبوا. Hold yourself to account before you are brought to account. So it rhymes as well, and it sticks, and this is why it's very popular. And the sayings of the companions, like Sayyidina Umar and Sayyidina Ali, can also be attributed, or they can also be in the category of hadith. All right? So they're usually found in hadith books. You'll find a saying of Ali. So hold yourself to account before you are brought to account. That's the first thing he says. Then he says, وَزِنُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ قَبْلَ أَن تُوزَنُوا. And weigh your actions before they are weighed. Because on Yawm al-Qiyamah, your actions are going to be weighed. وَنَضَعَ الْمَوَازِينَ الْقِسْطَ لِيَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. As Allah tells us, we will place the scale down on the Day of Judgment. Us as Muslims, we have certain belief systems, we have certain beliefs that we hold on to, such as the scale, such as Yawm al-Qiyamah. So we believe that will be our scale, our deeds will be on the scale. So you could translate it and weigh your deeds before they are weighed. Or you could translate it to weigh your actions. Because do your actions weigh anything? Yeah, the actions do weigh something. Because the deeds of your actions or the outcomes of your actions weigh something. So weigh your actions before they are weighed. He's basically saying, hold yourself to account before the day of accountability, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Hold yourself to account before Yawm al-Hisab. Hasibu anfusukum. Hold yourself to account, hasaba, muhasaba, right? Before Yawm al-Hisab. Yawm al-Qiyamah, one of the names of it is Yawm al-Hisab, the day of accountability, the day of great accountability. And then he goes, and weigh yourselves. He says literally weigh yourself. But it doesn't mean weigh yourself. Because you weigh yourself, you're going to see something else on the scale. It means weigh your actions or weigh your deeds before your deeds will be weighed on Yawm al-Qiyamah, before they place your deeds on the scale. Then he said this. He said, وَتَزَيَّنُوا لِلْعَرْضِ الْأَكْبَرِ. And he says, and adorn yourself. He says, and adorn yourself or beautify yourself or prepare yourself in a nice way for the day of the great presentation. This is so beautiful. Because Al-Ard Al-Akbar is the day of great display. The day of great, where we will all come and be displayed in front of Allah. We will be displayed. We will be on display. He says, adorn yourself. Decorate yourself. Wear nice stuff for that day. He doesn't mean actual wearing something. He doesn't mean actual makeup or actual make yourself look good with brocade and silk. That's not what he means. That's not what he means. He means adorn yourself with sincerity. Adorn yourself with taqwa. Adorn yourself with good deeds that you'll find. That's what he means by adorn yourself. He's basically saying, hold yourself to account. Always think about the day that you're going to be asked about everything you did, and prepare for that day nicely, and go to Yawm al-Qiyamah dressed up nice, meaning with sincerity. وَلِبَاسِ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. As Allah calls it in the Quran, after He tells the children and the sons and daughters of Adam to dress nicely to the masjid. This is phenomenal. He goes, خُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْرِفِينَ. Allah, he basically says, wear the nicest clothes. Wear nice clothes to the masjid. And the next ayah, and he says, وَلِبَاسِ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. He goes, but the adornment or the clothing of taqwa is far greater than anything you're going to wear to the masjid. The adornment or the libas or the garment of taqwa is more beautiful than whatever you're going to wear to a wedding or to work. It's so beautiful. Wallahi, Quran is amazing. So he says, and make yourselves look good for that day of the great presentation where you're all going to be presented in front of Allah. You want to look good on that day. And then he quotes an ayah, يَوْمَئِذٍ تُعْرَضُونَ لَا تَخْفَى مِنْكُمْ خَافِيَةٌ. And this is in Surah Al-Haqqa. This is in Surah Al-Haqqa. He says, on that day you will be exposed. Not a single secret of yours will be hidden. On that day, يَوْمَئِذٍ means on that day, on Yawm al-Qiyamah. تُعْرَضُونَ, you will all be on display. تُعْرَضُونَ means you will all be on display. لَا تَخْفَى مِنْكُمْ خَافِيَةٌ. Not one secret, you will not be able to conceal a single secret. Subhanallah. There's another ayah in the Quran that we mention here every single Friday. I mention it in all my khutbahs at the beginning. It's beautiful because it's an ayah of muhasabah. We started with a hadith of the Prophet, and then we started with a hadith of Umar or a saying of Umar or an athar of Umar. Now we move on to Allah. Allah, He says in Surah Al-Hashr on the last page. This notion of muhasabah is all throughout the Quran, by the way, because Allah constantly reminds us of Yawm al-Qiyamah and being displayed in front of Allah and how we can't hide anything in front of Allah. Allah, He says in Surah Al-Hashr, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. On the last page of Surah Al-Hashr, Allah, He says, O you who have believed, fear Allah, and let every single soul look at what He has put forth for tomorrow. And fear Allah, indeed Allah is all aware of what you do. O you who have believed, and every person with Iman. O people of Iman. O people sitting on the carpet at Masjid Younis that have wudu and are dressed nice in Islamic attire. O people that grow your beards out and wear hijab. O people of Iman that follow this book. Listen, like Allah tells you, person of Iman and faith, you're different than the normal person. The person of Iman thinks about what he does before he does it. The person of Iman thinks about what he eats before he eats. The person of Iman thinks about what he watches before he watches. You're different. So he said, oh, you who have believed, fear Allah. Be aware of Allah, be mindful of Allah, and let every single soul look at what He has prepared for tomorrow. The Arabic word for tomorrow, the Fusha word for tomorrow is ghadan. So here, the word ghadan does not mean actual tomorrow. It could mean that linguistically, but that's not what it means here. What it means here is prepare yourself for the day of judgment, because Allah refers to the day of judgment as tomorrow, because it will come as if it is tomorrow. When you waste time and you sleep and wake up, you become 25 years old and you're like, oh my God, I was just 16, and then you're 25, 29, 20, 30. Like time flies. Yawm al-Qiyamah comes tomorrow. So and put forth prepare yourself. Let every soul look at what he did and prepare yourself and put forth and let him see what he has put forth for tomorrow, the day of judgment. And fear Allah. Indeed, Allah is all aware of what you do. 2 times taqwa. اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ again. And Allah khabirun bima ta'malun. Fear Allah again. Indeed, Allah knows what you're doing and what you're up to. Then He says, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. And don't be like those who forgot Allah, so Allah forgot them. Indeed, they are the truly rebellious individuals. Indeed, they are definitely disobedient. My question to all of you is, does Allah forget? Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. But brother Shaykh in the Quran, God said He forgot them. Forgot here means you forgot Allah, Allah forgot you, and Allah left you. Allah does not forget anything. Astaghfirullah, brother. And do not be like those who forgot Allah, so He made them forget their own selves. I like that, the translator. So He made them forget their own selves. Indeed, they are the truly rebellious individuals. Yani, if you forget Allah and you don't put Allah first, you're in heedlessness, as we say. You're falling really deep in the deep end, and you have nothing to grab, or no one's going to save you. It's scary. Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha, she comments on these two ayahs that are found in Surah Al-Mu'minun. And this is the last thing we have for muhasabah. She comments on these two ayahs in Surah Al-Mu'minun that are interesting. In her understanding, or she asked the Prophet, are these ayahs referring to this group of people? And he says, no, look. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا أَتَوْا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ أُولَٰئِكَ يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ وَهُمْ لَهَا سَابِقُونَ. Allah, He says, and those who give what they give while their hearts tremble. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا أَتَوْا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ. Allah, He speaks about a group of people. He says, and those who when they give from what they were given, وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ. And God describes their hearts to be shaking and trembling. Like when they're giving, their hearts are shaking. أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. I'm going to say, and those who give what they give while their hearts tremble, knowing that they will return to their Lord. Then Allah says, أُولَٰئِكَ يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ وَهُمْ لَهَا سَابِقُونَ. Those are the people that are hastening to do good deeds, and they are at the forefront of doing these good deeds. And they are at the forefront, or they're leading. God describes these people who when they give from what they're given, they give in a way where their hearts are trembling. أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. They're trembling, knowing that they're going to return to God. Right? Allah says, أُولَٰئِكَ يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ. Those are the people who are hastening to do good always. وَهُمْ لَهَا سَابِقُونَ. And they are the first people to do it, or the first people to jump on it, or they are the leading people to do it, or they are at the forefront. Okay? Aisha, she says in regards to these ayahs, قالت عائشة سألت رسول الله أهم الذين يشربون الخمر ويسرقون. She said, are these ayahs in reference to the people who drink alcohol and steal? She's wondering why when they give from what they're given, their hearts tremble. She's wondering. So she said, oh Rasulullah, my dear husband, are these the people that have shortcomings, like they're stealing and they're drinking alcohol, and when they give they're scared because they know that they have shortcomings? He says, no. He says, قال لا يا بنت الصديق. He goes, no, on the contrary, absolutely not. Their hearts tremble because their iman is high. He goes, no, absolutely not. ولكنهم الذين يصومون ويصلون ويتصدقون وهم يخافون ألا تقبل منهم أولئك يسارعون في الخيرات وهم لها سابقون. He says, no, they're not the people who drink and steal. On the contrary, they are those who fast constantly and they pray all the time. Sorry. He says, no, they are the people who fast and they pray and they give sadaqah. He's saying they're good people, they're believers, they don't do haram. وَهُمْ يُخَافُونَ أَلَّا تُقْبَلَ مِنْهُمْ. He goes, but they fear that their givings are not going to be accepted from them. And that's the mu'min. He thinks in this way. He's always on his toes. He thinks that perhaps my action was not accepted. This is a sign of sincerity, and this is a sign of acceptance. You thinking that my actions don't count, maybe it's not good, this is very, very good sign, brother and sister. Good job. Not to the point where it becomes crazy and you can't do anything and then nothing works. No. But it's good to think to yourself, my action has a shortcoming, because this shows humility. This shows sincerity. Unlike the one who barely does anything and he goes, yeah, alhamdulillah, 5 times I prayed today. 5. This person is a little maghrur. You don't be maghrur, right? So it's a good sign to question yourself. That's the whole point of this ayah and this hadith. Why I brought this is because we're talking about muhasabah. This is an exact example of people who held themselves to account. They give And they're sincere, and they're good people, and they question themselves. They question muhasabah. They sit and they think. They give and they're scared when they give. They give and their hearts tremble out of fear from Allah. Allahu Akbar. So the Prophet says, no, they are the people who actually pray and give sadaqah and fast. وَهُمْ يَخَافُونَ أَلَّا تُقْبَلَ مِنْهُمْ أُولَٰئِكَ يُسَارِعُونَ. He goes, those are the ones who hasten to do good deeds. That's why Allah says they hasten to do good deeds, because they're pious. And they are at the forefront doing such deeds. So, in order to achieve this notion of muhasabah, you don't have to go and move to a mountain in the desert and turn your phone off. No, you don't have to. I like to always say that example in a joking manner because I'm serious. Because people are very extreme. It's like he's either doing this or he's doing everything haram in the world. It's like either haram is all open, every door of haram is open, or he goes and he becomes Saint Mark and he goes to a cathedral and he's like up on the mountain. No, brother, no. Like be easy. You could do muhasabah and be a normal human being. Every single believer should have times of muhasabah. So have times in seclusion. The practical advice for us to attain muhasabah or to do muhasabah in our own lives is have times in seclusion, self-assess yourself constantly, and have times of loneliness, yani seclusion/loneliness, all right? This can happen naturally. This can happen naturally for the man and the woman. Perhaps you work in Secaucus, New Jersey, and you live in Prospect Park. Let's give this example. Or you live in Wayne, or you live in Hilden. So you take Route 3, you come back. On your way back, it's like Asr time, it's like 5:30. The sun is setting really early now. It's like really depressing, your heart hurts. The sun just sets so early now. Within 3 days from now, the weather's gonna go 10, 15 degrees down. On your way home, you realize that Asr just finished and the guys are walking out. So you come and you stop because there's parking at 5:30. It's not hard to find parking. You park right in front of the mosque. You enter the mosque. You make wudu. You feel good after you make wudu. You come up and you pray your Asr. You make Asr on time. Alhamdulillah, may Allah keep you steadfast. This is amazing. You know, you're working in Secaucus, you're praying Asr in Prospect Park. This is amazing. May Allah accept it from you. Now you come to the masjid and it's nice. The air condition is nice. The carpet is comfy. I'm being so serious. And you sit down after Salat al-Asr, you sit down and you breathe in and out and you could think about your life. This is muhasabah. You sit for 5 minutes, you sit for 7 minutes. Some people like to sit between Maghrib and Isha. Some people like to sit after Fajr. Bro, whenever, the girl at home, if she's at home and she wants to sit in her room, like away from this thing. This thing is not, you don't do muhasabah with this on. This is away. You pray salah, you put it on airplane mode, you move it away. Just move it away. Pray to God. Connect to God. Disconnect from phone, connect to God. Airplane mode for 7 minutes. Wallahi, no one's going to call and text you in those 7 minutes. I challenge you all to lock your phone up for an hour and put it on do not disturb, not airplane mode, because then you won't see if someone called you. Then you'll be in your head, maybe someone called me that was on airplane mode. Maybe someone called and they couldn't get through. You're not that important, no one called you. Put your phone away for an hour, put it on do not disturb. You're going to shake for an hour. Go after an hour, check how many texts and how many calls. Nothing. You're going to feel like, man, he was right. What? And I say this because I'm not asking for an hour. I'm asking for 7 minutes. Salat al-Dhuhr takes you 3 minutes at home. Here in the masjid, maybe 5 minutes. Be realistic. Time your salah. Look, Salat al-Dhuhr, 3 minutes max. 3 to 5 max. If you're the guy that I saw today, maybe it's 1.5 minutes. Now, all jokes aside, man, your phone off, do not disturb. When you pray salah, nowhere near you. Because I'm telling you, if your phone is in your pocket when you pray, you're not praying. This is not salah. This is you're connected to WhatsApp. You're connected to Instagram. Your connection to God is the farther you're disconnected from the internet and the phone. This is a fact. And you need this disconnect from the phone 5 times a day. You need it for your heart. And you need it for yourself. And it feels good to pray salah when you're disconnected from the phone. It feels good. When your phone is on in your pocket, I don't know how people, they come and they pray with the phone on loud. Forget on, it's on loud. We're in Jum'ah, ring. Salah, ring. How? You turn your phone off, put it on airplane mode, put it on do not disturb, put it on sleep, put it on anything that makes it not ring and not vibrate. We don't want vibrate either. You want it to vibrate when salah? You're going to think who's calling you. You're going to think you're important. It's a spam call. No, really, like disconnect from the phone and pray salah nice. After you pray salah nice with a fresh wudu, this is your daily muhasabah time. Whether it's at dhuhr time, depending on your shift. Whether it's at asr, maghrib, whenever it is that you get to sit and breathe. And I say this for one salah. Because realistically, the other salahs probably you're rushing. Maybe you're at work and you have to go back to work. I understand, but I'm saying one. Everyone's schedule is different. Everyone's schedule. We have a brother, he comes here, he comes to Fajr every day, he's a bus driver. So you could tell that he likes to hang out after Fajr because he starts his shift like right after, like at like maybe 7:30. We pray at 6:10, we finish at 6:30. He just sits. Wallah, he just sits. I see him thinking, he's doing muhasabah. I didn't ask him. I know he's doing muhasabah. He's just sitting and thinking. He's not reading. You don't have to always do something. You don't always, like, no, good to read Quran. I'm not saying, but I'm saying there should be one time a day, whether it's Fajr for you, whether that's Dhuhr for you, whenever it is that you feel really tranquil and good and your phone is not by you and you prayed a nice salah, sit down. Give yourself 5 minutes and just think. This is what we call muhasabah. Self-assessment. Because the individual shouldn't have a day in his life, the Muslim that has iman. I say this sincerely. He should not have a day in his life where he's not thinking about Yawm al-Qiyamah, or he's not thinking about I'm going to die. Perhaps I'll die tomorrow. You should think like this. This is not morbid. This is not bad. It's good to think I might die tomorrow. It's good to think this way. Because life is not guaranteed, man. Life is not guaranteed. And if you think this way, you become a better person. If you think I'm going to die tomorrow, you don't look at haram. You do not. Like, it's hard to say that people struggle. I get it. May Allah grant you the ability to overcome yourself. No, but this helps. This seclusion helps. Having seclusion with God. You don't have to go to the mountain of Sinai to sit in a monastery. Sit in your monastery, in the masjid, or in your house. Wherever it may be. Sometimes people at work, their work situation is nice. They have a little salah room. Do muhasab in your salah room. Think of how you're spending your time. Don't be heedless of death. And death will come to you when you least expect it. Yeah, that's what muhasabah is. To not take life for granted. To constantly be in a state of thinking of death. The more you do this, the closer you are to Allah. It's just common sense. The more you do this, the more good you do in the world. The more you do this, the less haram you do. It's common sense. Like if I think to myself truly that I will die tomorrow, I will not do that haram. I will not do it. I'm going to die tomorrow. So if you find yourself ignoring, I like this a lot. This is copy paste from the book. If you find yourself ignoring your promise to Allah and going off in a completely different direction, this is a good point. He brought this good point. If you find yourself ignoring your promise to Allah, what's that mean? Your covenant to Allah. If you find yourself lax with halal and haram, lax with hijab, lax with whatever it is, ignoring your promise to Allah, and going off in a completely different direction. Yani he's talking in a nice way. In our language, you're taking the left lane. The Muslim should never be on the left lane. You should always be in the right lane. Sikka shmal in Egyptian means you're falling down the wrong path. You won't be sikka yameen. You want to be in the right lane always, yeah? Right lane is good. So he says, if you find yourself taking a wrong direction, it may be productive, he says. It may be productive to impose a limitation on yourself. This is phenomenal. Like he set a boundary, brother. He's saying, this old guy that's older than all of us, he's saying, set a boundary. You're young, set a boundary, impose a limitation. Look what he says. A productive penalty can be a useful tool in training yourself to have a firm resolve and to not be weak. I like this a lot. A productive penalty can be a useful tool in training yourself to have a firm resolve and not to be weak. Like impose a productive penalty. He calls it productive, and he goes on, he talks a lot about don't be hard on yourself. Don't impose physical pain to yourself. But I thought that was common sense. I'm not going to bring that. Like you don't hit yourself. Like don't hurt yourself because you did something wrong. But give yourself a productive penalty, such as, he says, Sayyidina Umar, he gives an example of Sayyidina Umar. He says, once he missed a prayer in congregation. The Sahaba were keen on praying in Jama'ah for many reasons. Yeah, but not to say, oh, they had the Prophet. We don't know. It's also important for us. But one of the main reasons is that they had Rasulullah leading them. So they didn't ever want to leave, miss a congregational prayer. And I say this because in the books of hadith, when you read and you see when a Sahabi misses a prayer, they make a big deal out of it because it hurts them a lot because they missed that one opportunity to pray behind Rasulullah. We have a special salah in the books of fiqh when it comes to the chapter of prayer. It's a big chapter. So you talk about Salat al-Fajr, you talk about Dhuhr, how many rak'ahs is that, how many sunnahs for it, right? With the timing and entrance of Fajr and Dhuhr. We talk about different salawat, Salat al-Kusuf and Khusuf, which is the eclipse, the solar and lunar eclipse. You talk about Janazah, you talk about Jum'ah, you talk about Eidain, you talk about different salawat we have in our religion, correct? We have a salah called Salat al-Khawf. Salat al-Khawf is when you're in battle. When you're in battle, you're fighting against the enemy. You're literally in battle, you have to pray. So a group of believers stays on guard and stays fighting, and the other group prays 2 rak'ahs, then they switch. They're in prayer though. So the ones in guard, they're technically speaking in prayer. When I got to this chapter, I was a bit confused. I asked my Shaykh, he was from Halab, he was from Aleppo, Syria. He was young, but he was one of the smartest people, most knowledgeable people I've ever seen in my life. I just used to like looking at him move his lips, because just nothing came out except for gold. Like he's just so knowledgeable. He was knowledgeable in every science. I was studying with him the chapter of the prayer of fear, or the prayer of war, or the prayer of battle, Salat al-Khawf. And I was thinking in my head, this is interesting to me. Why would they have to stay in Salah, all of them together? Why couldn't they just pray like, I would think like a group would pray, and then the next group would pray after them. It would make more sense to me. Like a group, 20 of them will pray Asr, and 20 of them will watch, and then the other 20 will pray Asr. And he laughed and he chuckled. And he goes, you don't get it. I go, no, I don't. I don't get it. No, I really don't. Like the Jama'ah and Jama'ah. He goes, first of all, they want the Jama'ah to be larger. They want the congregation to be larger. I was like, oh, subhanAllah. Like every little detail they care about, subhanAllah. We don't pray Jama'ah for 2 weeks, someone. Yeah. I was talking to a brother the other day. I'm like, how was Jama'ah? He goes, I haven't been to Jama'ah in 4 weeks. Like it's nothing. He didn't even have a job. Man. They knew what Salah was. The Sahaba, they knew what Salah was. So he goes, the main reason for this was because I think you're not realizing who was leading them in Salah. And I looked at my Shaykh, I go, oh, they all wanted to pray behind Rasulullah. He goes, absolutely. That really touched me a lot. So they instituted, or Allah and the Prophet ﷺ instituted this Salat called Salat al-Khawf. The Prophet was the one leading them in Salah. So a group of companions would start the prayer, and the other group would be watching. But as they're watching, they're technically in prayer. They start the prayer together, you see. Then the other group watches and they pray separately, but the Prophet ﷺ is leading them in Salah. So the point I'm making is that they were keen on praying in congregation. So Sayyidina Umar, once he missed a prayer in congregation, so he spent the entire night in prayer to make up for that missed opportunity. The Prophet ﷺ, he says that Qiyam al-Layl, and people always ask me, Shaykh, is there a difference between Qiyam al-Layl and Tahajjud? Qiyam al-Layl is Tahajjud and Tahajjud is Qiyam. But there is a difference. Tahajjud is only used in the Quran when it's someone waking up from his sleep. When it's someone waking up from his sleep. Qiyam al-Layl is more general. Qiyam al-Layl is more general. Tahajjud is more specific. Qiyam al-Layl is any night prayer after Isha. Any night sunnah after Isha, Qiyam al-Layl. Is Tahajjud Qiyam al-Layl? Yes. Is all of Qiyam al-Layl Tahajjud? No. But in our language and speaking to people, oh, I'm praying Tahajjud, it's taken as, Qiyam al-Layl. But if you want to be specific, if you want the nuance or the specific, and you want to be meticulous with wording, the word Tahajjud in the Quran and the Sunnah is only used for the Qiyam al-Layl that is after sleeping, waking up for it. Is that more rewarding? Yeah, of course, it's exertion of more effort, right? It's more difficult to wake up from your sleep than to stay up, so yes. So they're the same thing is what I'm saying. So Qiyam is the night prayer, anything after Salat al-Isha. The best time to pray Qiyam or Tahajjud is the last day of the night because of the famous hadith of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, the Prophet saying Allah descends in a way that befits His Majesty. And He says, who is asking so I can answer him? And who is asking for forgiveness so I can forgive him? It's a very intimate timing. And the scholars say, and the Salaf they say, if you claim that you want something, and you're not praying Qiyam al-Layl for every day, you are lying. Because the person that wants something, he prays Qiyam for it. Interesting tangent, side note. I got in my YouTube algorithm like a year ago or 5 months ago, these videos kept coming up from random people, some converts and some non-converts, like of my Tahajjud experience. So I clicked on one, and once I clicked on, that's it. The gates of YouTube opened for me. Like every day I got a different recommended video. My Qiyam experience. Some women, some men. They were all basically looking to get married or looking for a job. And they talk about their Qiyam experience because they heard this advice that they were told, pray Tahajjud for it, pray Qiyam for it, and you will get it. And truly, I've heard many intimate stories that I have millions of stories from people that life experience for myself as well. If you want something and you pray Tahajjud for it or Qiyam for it, you'll get it, inshallah. And if you don't get it, it means you got it. And even if you don't get it, it means you got it. What does that mean? If you don't get that thing that you're asking for in Qiyam, you got Allah. Because you're waking up at a time when everyone is doing haram or sleeping, and you're asking Allah for something that God granted you the ability to get up and make wudu. Oh. You're like, oh, Shaykh, but I didn't get it. Bro, forget that girl, forget that job, forget all of that. You got Allah. You got Allah time. And I say this all the time as well, just for you to know from your own experience. When you pray Qiyam, the number one deterrent to not pray Qiyam is, oh, I'm going to be tired, I have work tomorrow, right? Normal. Or I'm going to be tired, I have school tomorrow. I can tell you all, I'm not saying this like I'm pious. I'm not pious. I'm a normal human. Sometimes God grants me the ability to wake up before Fajr, 5 minutes before Fajr, 3 minutes before Fajr, so I could talk from experience a bit. There's never a time in my life I prayed Qiyam and I was tired that day, ever. It's like you get freak energy. It's like you get like some energy drink that's from God. Iman drink. It's some freak stuff. There's never a time I ever prayed Qiyam in my life and I felt tired that day, ever. It's like I had energy the whole day. But the main reason why I don't get up for Qiyam is because the shaitan tells me, but I got work tomorrow or I got school tomorrow. Qiyam is a little extra. No. You pray Qiyam, you don't feel no tired. You don't feel no tired. God blesses your day differently. Because if you pray Fajr on time, your day is blessed differently. We say this all the time. The person that does it, he knows what we're talking about. But the person that doesn't do it, he can't give an analogy. He can't understand. How could the person that never tried steak know how steak tastes? Whatever you want to use the example. Like how could the person that never did something know what we're talking about? A day without Fajr is absolute misery, catastrophe. Cancel the day out and start a new day. Like cancel the day out, just sleep that day, wake up for Fajr the next day because it's misery. So if the day that you pray Fajr is great, the day that you pray Qiyam is great squared. It's great times two. It's amazing. It's amazing. Who prays Fajr in congregation, he's in the guaranteed protection of Allah. If you pray Qiyam al-Layl, you're not going to be in the protection of God. So Sayyidina Umar, he punished himself with a productive punishment, productive penalty. For missing a salah in congregation, he prayed that whole night Qiyam al-Layl. He prayed that whole night Qiyam al-Layl. You don't have to do that. I don't know if we have all that much iman. But if you do something or slip up in a certain way, you could punish yourself in a productive manner. Now moving on to the next chapter, which is fulfilling the rights of others. So in conclusion, muhasab is very important. Every single person with a working intellect, like the Prophet said this, not me, al-kayyisu man dana nafsuhu, the smart individual, the smart person is the one who constantly self-assesses. You're going to pray? Or you prayed already? You're going to join him? You're going to pray what? Sunnah or Isha? Sunnah, no, come sit. You don't have to pray Sunnah. Come sit. No, you don't have to pray that. We're in a class. Come sit here. So the smart individual, the smart person, is the one that constantly self-assesses himself and he looks forward for death, not because death is mortifying, but because death is meeting Allah and returning to Allah and being asked about everything we did. The next chapter, the last final chapter in the second third of the book, which is exciting because it's instilling good character, being sincere, being truthful, lowering your, it's fulfilling the rights of others. And this is a massive chapter. And it made me happy. Once I was preparing for this class, I realized why it's such a big chapter. Because Islam comes and it emphasizes on this point a lot. Wallahi, Islam is an amazing religion. It comes to make harmony and good feelings, and it comes to nurture goodness between people. Fulfilling the rights of others is a huge deal in our religion. Making sure you don't turn someone the wrong way is a huge deal in our religion. Making sure you uplift someone, you make someone feel good because perhaps they're feeling bad is a huge deal in our religion. The Prophet ﷺ, he was asked about the number one thing that enters people into paradise. The Prophet was asked, what is the most thing that enters people into Jannah? What is the most thing that enters people into Jannah? He said, Taqwa Allah wa husnul khuluq. The Prophet ﷺ's response was not Qiyam al-Layl, was not Fajr, was not fasting, was not zakah. He said, Taqwa Allah, being mindful of God, living a life with Allah, and husnul khuluq, and being a person of good conduct and character. Fulfilling the rights of others goes number one in that. Like fulfilling the rights of others is number one in that. How to give salam, how to respond to as-salam, what to do in social gatherings, how to maintain yourself. All of it goes to fulfilling the rights. We're going to see this. And it's a massive chapter, about 20 pages long, and we'll take our time with it, inshallah, today and next week we'll go over it. The rights of other believers on you. The first one, the first subcategory is the rights, حقوق المؤمنين عليك. The rights of other believers on you. Your Muslim brother and your Muslim sister have rights on you, certain rights. The ahadith of the Prophet are plethora. How to treat your Muslim brother. The right of a Muslim on another Muslim is 6. The other hadith is the Prophet commanded us with 7 and he prohibited us from 7. The other one is the right of the Muslim is 5. There's tons. So the first thing that he mentions is the first right that the Muslim gets over you is that you do not harm them. You do not hurt them by speech or by action. You don't hurt them by a physical touch, by punching with no reason, by harming them physically, or with your tongue. And your tongue could very much harm someone emotionally, much more than a physical punch. Because a physical punch is a bruise, right? Like 2 days maybe you get over it. But saying something hurtful to someone sometimes lingers and lasts forever. Like, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. He says that the Muslim meaning the proper Muslim, meaning the real Muslim, man salim al-muslimun min lisanihi wa yadihi, is the one who the other Muslims were free from the wrath of his tongue and the wrath of his hands. Of course, he doesn't say the wrath. He goes, the Muslim is the one where the other Muslims are safeguarded and freed from his tongue and his hands. Meaning he's not a person going talking bad, hurting people's feelings. Like we said in the hadith, the famous hadith that I like to always quote, indeed the individual, the Prophet said, indeed the slave will enter into the highest levels of Jannah for a word that he said that he didn't even think of. And on the flip side, an individual enters into Jahannam and he continuously falls into Jahannam. He's continuously falling into the pits of Jahannam for a word that he said that he didn't even think of. La yulqi laha balan, the Prophet says. Yani it's something he said, he didn't even take it into thought because he's just vile. He speaks bad about people. He thinks he's cool. He likes to put people down. He sees someone with glasses, he calls them four eyes. He sees someone heavy, he goes, oh, you need to go to the gym. Like he's just a mean person. He's just a mean person. Don't be mean, be uplifting to people. Usually when someone's mean, or when someone bullies, or when someone is vulgar, or when someone puts someone down, you have to be the smart person and be above that, because you come into the masjid, you're in wudu, wearing hijab, jilbab, wearing beard. You guys are the upper echelon, inshallah. You should be very wise, understand how to navigate people. You should see this as someone being shallow, insecure, projecting. He's going through a lot. Like if you're going to bully someone, there's something wrong with you. A normal person doesn't want to bully someone. The normal person is happy. He wants to smile and hug. Right? So be uplifting to people. The second thing he mentions is you must also protect their shortcomings and their vulnerabilities. You protect them, you cover the Muslim. First thing he says is, first right a Muslim has over you is you don't hurt them. First right. Second right the Muslim has over you is it's your right as a Muslim to protect your Muslim sister, not to expose her. And it's your right as a Muslim to protect your Muslim brother. Of course, vice versa. You protect your Muslim sister, you protect your Muslim brother, no problem. So as a Muslim, you are looking to cover and not expose. The Quran comes with this very strongly. Because the Quran comes in Surah An-Nur, and it says that the person who accuses a woman of fornication, a person that accuses a woman of fornication, and he does not provide the due details or the due proof. What is the due proof in Sharia? Habibi, sit up, sit good. Come sit here, come, we want to see you. Come. Yeah? Yeah, good job. So, absolutely. So, Islamic Sharia, in order to establish a verdict of someone accusing someone of that haram act, you would have to produce 4 upright male witnesses. Basically, Allah is indirectly saying, shut your mouth, don't say nothing. Because if you can't come provide 4 male witnesses to testify with you, and you accuse someone of haram, you get 80 lashes. فَاجْلِدُوهُمْ ثَمَانِينَ جَلْدًا. God says, the person who fornicates, that's not married, gets 100 lashes. Listen to this crazy concept. The one who's caught fornicating, he gets 100 lashes, 100 whips. And you don't feel bad for the person. They did haram. Don't feel bad for them. Allah says, وَلَا تَأْخُذْ بِهِمَا رَأْفَةٌ مِّن دِينِ اللَّهِ. Don't feel bad for them. Lash them strongly. The one who comes and says, she fornicated, and he doesn't produce 4 people to come and say, yes, we all witnessed it. And they go into detail of how you have to witness it. فَاجْلِدُوهُمْ ثَمَانِينَ جَلْدًا. The Quran says you take that person that talked, you lash him 80 times. You know what blew my mind? Once I was reading this page, I never thought of it like this. The one who fornicated, who got caught in the act, gets 100 lashes. And the one who says that someone fornicated and he doesn't produce the proof gets 80 lashes. He gets the same amount of lashes almost. This guy only got 20 more. Allah is saying in the nicest way, shut your mouth. Don't talk about people in a bad way. Even if it happened, God is saying don't talk. So then you're going to ask the famous question is, then how does someone get caught? Because how someone can produce 4 witnesses? There's other ways, such as confession. Someone can come and say, I confess I did this haram, because they want to be forgiven by Allah. So they want the had, they want the corporal Islamic punishment to be applied to them. But this does not apply for us today anyway, because there's no Islamic state and there's no qadi, etc. But this is just nice for us to understand. This is just me telling you all the emphasis of the Quran coming to tell us to cover people, to not talk, all right? Because it's not possible to bring 4 people to see something like that. It's not possible. So you also must protect their shortcomings and their vulnerabilities. And from the Sunnah, man satara musliman satarahu Allahu yawm al-qiyamah. The famous hadith, it's a long hadith. At the end of it, The Prophet said, "And whomsoever covers his Muslim brother or sister, Allah will cover one of their faults on the Day of Judgment." Man satara musliman. Whomsoever covers, covers his fault, Allah will cover one of your faults on the Day of Judgment. And they say that on the Day of Judgment, you're going to wish that all your faults were covered. Again, I want to say this for us to implement. Inshallah, we can all implement this as homework because we're all guilty. We're all humans. We like to talk. We're all humans. Next time you want to say something and it will be exposing someone, just think of this hadith and say, "Ya Allah, I'm not going to mention this in my heart." You say, "I'm not going to mention this with the intention of you covering me on Yawm al-Qiyamah." This is a good, productive way of stopping yourself from exposing someone. The person that you're exposing, for whatever reason that you have a shallow reason to expose them, you think of yourself and your shortcomings. And if we all saw your shortcomings and your faults, it would be bad. Like if we were all exposed, if every one of us here was exposed, it would be bad, man. It would be bad. We're human beings. We have shortcomings and sins. And if we had a stench for every time we did something wrong, we would smell bad. But Allah is beautiful and Allah is merciful and Allah constantly covers us. He constantly covers us. There's a really beautiful hadith when it comes to exposing. The Prophet, he said, "Ya ma'ashara man amana bilisanihi wa lam yadkhul al-iman qalbahu, la takhtabu al-muslimina wa la tattabi'u awratihim, فإنه من تتبع عورة أخيه المسلم تتبع الله عورته ومن تتبع الله عورته يفضحه ولو في جوف بيته." This hadith is amazing. The Prophet, he says, "Oh you," he calls out to everyone, he says, "Oh you who have believed with their tongues, but iman did not penetrate their hearts." Meaning you're fake, meaning your iman is fake. Because iman, real iman, al-imanu tasdiqu bil-qalbi. Iman, they say, is belief in the heart. The Prophet is saying, "Oh you who believed with your tongues, and the belief didn't seep into the heart. The belief didn't reach your heart, meaning your iman is not real." Who is this person that the Prophet is talking about that has not real iman? Subhanallah. "Oh you who believed with their tongues, but iman did not enter their hearts. لا تغتابوا المسلمين." Don't backbite other Muslims. Don't talk about people. ولا تتبعوا عوراتهم. And don't follow their faults. Don't follow their shortcomings. Don't follow their vulnerabilities. People are sick and they like to see someone doing something wrong and say, "Look at that person," because it makes them feel better. The Prophet says, don't do this. And if you do this, you're someone who doesn't have real iman. Because someone with real iman doesn't look to do this. Someone with real iman looks to cover and not expose. فَإِنَّهُ مَنْ تَتَبَّعَ عَوْرَةَ أَخِيهِ الْمُسْلِمِ. For indeed, he who exposes the shortcoming, for indeed he who exposes the vulnerability of his Muslim brother, تَتَبَّعَ اللَّهُ عَوْرَتَهُ. Allah will follow and look for his shortcoming. This is very scary. God is saying, if you go and you're always constantly looking to embarrass someone, or you're constantly looking for the fault in someone, Allah will take it upon himself, God Almighty, to find your shortcoming. This is very scary, brother, because this is God Almighty. He knows your shortcoming already. Look, whomsoever looks for a shortcoming in his Muslim brother / sister, Allah will then look for a shortcoming in him. It's basically a threat. وَمَنْ تَتَبَّعَ اللَّهُ عَوْرَتَهُ يَفْضَحَهُ وَلَوْ فِي جَوْفِ بَيْتِهِ. And then the Prophet goes on to say, "In whomsoever Allah takes it upon himself to find a shortcoming in him, يَفْضَحَهُ وَلَوْ فِي جَوْفِ بَيْتِهِ." He will embarrass him. He will embarrass him even if he's in the middle of his own house. He will embarrass him even if he's in the middle of his own house. They say this means what this means is the apparent meaning is you're in seclusion, because the middle of your house means you're hidden. No one sees you except God. No, he'll embarrass you even if it's in your own house. This also means with your family. He'll embarrass you. Something will come up with your wife or your kids. He'll embarrass you with the most intimate people to you, which is really bad. And then another narration, وَلَوْ عَلَى رَاحِلَتِهِ. And another narration, same hadith with another narration of the Prophet, is even Allah will then take it upon him to embarrass that person, and he'll embarrass him even if he was on his rahila, even if he was on his camel. Back then, the camel used to have a big saddle and it used to have like a close quarter, right? Like the car today that's tinted. Same thing. Allah will embarrass you even if you're in the 2% tints of your car. This is very scary. Bottom line is, don't follow people's shortcomings. Cover people and don't expose people. Be someone who overlooks and looks another way. Don't be someone who looks and wants to look at something. Like look the other way. You see someone entering a liquor store, say, "Oh, perhaps he's buying a high C. Perhaps he's thirsty, and he entered the liquor store to buy a high C." He walks out with a vodka. He says, "Subhanallah, may Allah forgive us all. We have shortcomings. We have shortcomings ourselves. May Allah guide us all. May Allah guide my brother. Perhaps he brought it because he has pain on his thing." Allahu Akbar. Be understanding. People go through ups and downs in life. Don't be quick to judge people, man. Don't be quick to judge people, because then you'll fall. The other right that the Muslim has over you is to refuse to listen to gossip and rumors about them. You should refuse. This is the right of your Muslim brother or sister on you, is that you refuse to entertain backbiting about that person. Someone comes to tell you about, oh, did you hear what so-and-so said? Say, no, brother, I did not. Jazakallah khair. Did you see the Lakers game yesterday? Change the subject. Oh, do you want to go out and eat? Do you want to go out and eat? They open their new restaurant. You change the subject nicely, gracefully, you know. If that doesn't work, get up and walk away. If that doesn't work, entertain it. No, I'm joking. Don't entertain it. That's refuse to listen to gossip and rumors about your Muslim brother and sister, as the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يدخل الجنة نمام. The Prophet, he said that the person who goes walking around telling people things about people does not enter paradise. This is a namam. The one that goes around exposing people, talking about people, backbiting people, causing friction between people. This person doesn't enter paradise. The other thing that the author brings is love for your brother what you love for yourself. To love for your Muslim brother or sister that which you love for your own self. مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم مثل الجسد الواحد إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. This is like the most famous hadith quoted in every khutbah, because Gaza is going through a lot. You always hear this hadith. The example of the Muslims, the example of the believers together, the similitude of the believers together in their mutual affection and love and mercy is like that of a body. The believers together are like that of a single body. If one piece of the body, if one limb of the body feels hurt, if one limb of the body is bothered, تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. The whole body ends up staying up and complaining. The whole body ends up staying up and complaining from heat and from discomfort and fever, from discomfort and being tired and ill. This is the way of the believers together in their mutual love and affection and mercy. It's like a body. If you ever hurt your toe or your thumb or your finger, like you don't understand the value of a pinky. Like a pinky seems small, right? You have the thumb, index, middle, ring finger, and then the pinky. The pinky seems small. Once I hurt my pinky playing basketball. This guy threw it really hard and it was like, and it hurt and it swole. And I went home. And I was like, he's like, oh, put ice on it. I'm like, yeah. I put ice on it. And I went to go sleep. I had the worst sleep of my life. I started to get my foot started like, my thigh started hurting. How did my thigh start hurting from my pinky? How did my thigh start hurting? What's it called when it clenches? Your thigh, it clenches like this. My thigh started cramping and everything because I kept moving around in the bed a certain way because I didn't want to hurt the pinky. I was like, subhanallah. I went to go use, to shower the next day. It was hurting. Everything hurt. Everything was difficult from the pinky. I was like, subhanallah, I get the hadith now. I get it. The pinky is like, for example, Gaza. But Gaza is bigger than the pinky. It's the heart. But like the Muslim ummah is all together. If one piece of the ummah, if one person is hurt, the whole ummah hurts. Love for your brother what you love for yourself. We love the pinky dearly. We don't want it to get hurt. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. This is one of the most famous hadith. The Prophet said, no one attains true belief. No one is a true believer. No one is a true mu'min until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. And this is quoted a lot. I call it cliche because it's always quoted. Oh, brother, love for your brother what you love for yourself. Love for your brother what you love for yourself is the high station of Iman. It's Ansar and Muhajirin. It's very difficult to reach that. It's very difficult to reach that. To love for your brother what you love for yourself, truly, is difficult to reach. I've seen it before. May Allah grant us that. Reconcile between your brothers. The other right that your Muslim brother has over you or your Muslim sister has over you is that you fix an issue between them. This is a beautiful one. These are rights that believers have on each other. Allah, He says in Surah Al-Hujurat, إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. It's a very beautiful ayah. It comes in the context, we talked about Surah Al-Hujurat here a lot. The context is there was a fight that took place between two tribes. And they say this is why this ayah was revealed. It's a long ayah. وإن طائفتان من المؤمنين اقتتلوا. Allah, He says that if two groups of believers fight, take the side of the one that is being oppressed to help them over the one who's oppressing them, basically make sulh. Then Allah says after that, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Indeed, the believers are but brothers. Indeed, the believers are brothers. Allah affirms brotherhood, Imani brotherhood. And we say that the brotherhood or the relativeness or your relation of Iman is stronger than anything in the world. And Carlos is from Puerto Rico. I'm from America, Palestine, Iraq. He's my brother, Puerto Rico and Iraq. And I have a friend from Azhar from Sri Lanka. And we're brothers. Like here, 90% Bangladesh, Palestine, Iraq, Morocco, Palestine, Bangladesh. Where are you from? Yeah, you. Good. Nice answer, brother. Huh? Really? Oh. Yeah, Muslims are brothers and sisters, yeah. Iman is the strongest brotherhood. I had this brother, not me, any brother. You have a Muslim brother, he converts, he becomes a Muslim brother like Carlos. I had a brother in Florida. He just stands out because he said something to me once. He's like, oh, Shaykh Ismail, you my brother. I got 9 brothers, they're not my brothers. You my brother. I was like, you my brother? He just came to my mind. He emailed me the other day. Wallahi, this is beautiful. Islamic brotherhood is amazing. The person that knows what I'm talking about is the person that tasted it. He emailed me this brother. He's like, Shaykh, I think you changed your number. I've been trying to reach you. It's your brother from Florida. I was like, yeah, I remember you. It's beautiful, man. Islam is the strongest bond. So because Islam is the strongest bond, Allah wants to make sure that we fix and mend ties between people, right? When 2 believers are fighting between themselves, it is their right upon you as a Muslim to try your best to reconcile between them. You know, Shaykh Qatanani, he's known for something. Imams are all known for this because the Imam is looked at as a respectful individual, especially if you're someone like Shaykh Qatanani with his tenure. You're looked at as a respectful individual. They do something called sulh, right? Sulh is to reconcile. You have someone, he has an issue with his business partner. They said, let's go to the Shaykh. You owe me this much. No, you. They go to Shaykh Qatanani, he touches them like this. He makes it, shake hand, brother, please. Shake his hand. Brother, please, we pray Isha now. Please shake his hand. And he's mad. He shakes his hand, like the physical touch is there. Shai or qahwa? Shai, you know, he master at like making it good and and then he goes, what is the problem? And then he goes off, and then he goes off, and he goes off, and he says, Ya Habibi taqullah, God says this in the Quran, didn't God say that? Didn't God say your brother? What's the problem? How are we going to reconcile? You owe me this much, that much. What did the bottom line is fix the problem. The bottom line is we don't want animosity. We don't want problems between people. Islamic. Wallahi, Islam is amazing. It's holistic. It's everything in the world. Islam is the cure to all problems. You know, Salat al-Jama'ah, the Salat in congregation, I mentioned this here before. They say that one of the main wisdoms behind the prayer in congregation is that you see your community daily, 5 times a day. So if I know a brother that comes here every single day for Fajr no matter what, and one day he doesn't come for Fajr, I'm going to call him. I'll say, bro, you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I just overstepped. I go, brother, sleep all you want. That's okay. Alhamdulillah, he's okay. He just slept. You know, you call him, you say, brother, are you okay? He goes, I'm in the hospital. Why? My wife is giving birth. Oh, Alf Mabruk, that's also great. Take your time. Well, bro, where are you? What happened to you? Oh, I'm in the hospital. I'm in the hospital. Me, I got hurt. I got jumped. How would you know? Fajr. He didn't come to Fajr one time. This is the Muslim brothers. Also, they say when you're forced to pray next to someone, no matter how much you can't stand that person, you end up standing him a bit because you're standing next to him. You end up standing him a bit. Sometimes you can't, bro. It was so funny in Orlando. In my masjid, there was these 2 guys that are fighting, don't talk. They come to Fajr every day. They pray next, like God puts them together. Like they're not intending to pray next to each other. They're trying to avoid, and they just sat. I used to think about it. I'm like, whoa. I go, how you doing, brother? Like he hates him. He don't talk to him. He talks about him. He comes to Fajr, he prays right next to him. He's touching his foot. There's nothing like Islam in the world, wallahi. Imagine doing that for a week. The hate goes out the heart, brother. You try to hold the grudge. I'm from this place. I hold grudge this many years, bro. My village, this much grudge. You come to the masjid, you make wudu, masjid. You see the guy in front of your face every day. Khalas, bro, it gets out the heart. You realize it's small, it's petty. The other brother next to you is laughing. He's cool with him. The masjid is crazy. You can't be a believer going to the masjid and hold a grudge. You can't. It's impossible. I've tried it. It's impossible. You cannot hold a grudge. The guy's in your face every day, man, giving you salam. Astaghfirullah. Reconciling between your two Muslim brothers. When two believers are fighting between themselves, it's the right upon you for you to reconcile. So when that guy comes to fix problems between you and your friend and he's being annoying, he's doing it because he has something called iman in his heart. He's doing it because he wants the betterment of the ummah. And this is a very beautiful thing. This is a very beautiful thing. It's not about your ego and your whatever. Everyone has problems. I'm not even saying that guy is a good guy, because perhaps the reason why you're upset at him is a valid reason. Perhaps, wallahi. Perhaps it's a valid reason. Harmony is important. Indeed, the Muslims and the believers are but brothers. فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ. So fix between your Muslim brothers. Surah Al-Anfal, the first ayah of Surah Al-Anfal, which is all about the battle of Badr. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَنفَالِ قُلِ الْأَنفَالُ لِلَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَصْلِحُوا ذَاتَ بَيْنَكُمْ وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولُهُ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. The first ayah of Surah Al-Anfal. They ask you about the Anfal, which is the booties of war, because this was a new phenomena. This was a new phenomena. The first battle, Badr, first war. They got leftovers. They don't know what to do with it. They're fighting. As they're fighting over what's going to happen to the stuff, Quran sent down. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَنفَالِ. They ask you about this stuff, O Muhammad. قُلِ الْأَنفَالُ لِلَّهِ وَرَسُولِ. Say to them, O Muhammad, that the Anfal are for Allah and His Messenger. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَصْلِحُوا ذَاتَ بَيْنَكُمْ. So fear God. Be aware of Allah. Stop fighting over dunya. وَأَصْلِحُوا ذَاتَ بَيْنَكُمْ. And fix the problems that are between you. وَأَصْلِحُوا ذَاتَ بَيْنَكُمْ. Mend your problems. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. And fear Allah. إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. If you are true believers. So a sign of true belief is to not have animosity, to forgive and forget. It's a right of your Muslim sister/brother to fix the problem between them. Like I said, and I'll end here because I said it many times. You wanting to fix a problem between your two friends is a good thing. This is iman. You not wanting to forgive, this is natural in your heart. Natural. You hurt, bothered, not wanting to forgive, I get it. Khalas, sometimes people need time. Sometimes you need time. Going to the masjid every day for Fajr and he's going too, you're going to forgive him. You're forced. But it's a good thing when people try to fix things between you and your friend or your sister. Show respect to those older than you and show kindness to those younger than you. It's another right that the Muslim has over you. The older Muslim and the younger Muslim have a specific right over you. The Prophet, he said, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ لَمْ يَرْحَمْ صَغِيرَنَا وَيُوَقِّرْ كَبِيرَنَا وَفِي رِوَايَةٍ وَيَعْرِفْ حَقَّ كَبِيرَنَا وَيَعْرِفْ حَقَّ كَبِيرَنَا. So another right that Muslims have over us, that every Muslim gets because they're Muslim, is that if they're older, we respect them. If they're older, we show them veneration. If they're older, we open the door, brother, here, let me get your... be respectful. This is a sign of iman. For you to see the older uncle, and he's having trouble, and you going to help him, you say, oh, this kid is respectful. MashaAllah, he's respectful because he's venerating the older person. He's showing respect to who deserves to be shown respect. You say, why does the older person need to be shown respect? If you don't have common sense to understand that, there's a problem. But the older person, old, white hair, old, young, like Cain, like he's been through life a lot. Perhaps he has grandkids. You're a grandkid. Like you are a grandkid. He has grandkids. Like, he deserves respect. He's been in this world longer than you. It doesn't matter what you think of him. He's an older individual. You respect him. So, certain things in life you have to understand because we're programmed to think like, so how I feel. No, it's not how you feel, brother. It's be respectful. You learn to be respectful. It's not about what you think of him. No. He's older. He gets respect. Automatic. He's older. Respect. لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ لَمْ يَرْحَمْ صِغِيرَنَا. He is not from us who doesn't show compassion to those who are young. He is not from us. The Prophet said he's not a mu'min. He's not a true believer who's not merciful to the young people, to the young kids, and who doesn't venerate the older, and in another narration, who doesn't know the right or the true value of those who are older. Okay? Next thing that we have to do is show mercy in general. Be forgiving. Be forgiving / show mercy in general. Being merciful to each other in general. Right? This is more specific, the older person and the younger person is more. Now, in general, you should be forgiving and merciful. The Prophet, he said, "Man la yarhamu la yurham." He said, who doesn't forgive, he who doesn't show mercy, will not be shown mercy. The Prophet said, he who is not forgiving will not be forgiven. He who doesn't show mercy will not be shown mercy to. Ar-Rahimun yarhamuhum ar-Rahman. This is a very famous hadith. Irhamu man fil ardi yarhamukum man fis samai. The those who show forgiveness, ar-rahimun, those who are merciful toward each other, those who show forgiveness and are merciful toward each other, yarhamuhum ar-Rahman. The Prophet says, ar-rahimun. Rahimun is the plural of rahim. Those who show mercy onto one another, yarhamuhum ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman, Allah, will show mercy to them because of your attribute. God will show mercy to you. So it's a prerequisite, we see, to be shown mercy from Allah, for you yourself to be merciful to others, to be forgiving to others. Irhamu man fil ardi, yarhamukum man fil sama'i. Be merciful to the inhabitants of the earth, us, inhabitants of the earth. Be merciful to people on earth. Yarhamukum man fil sama', and the one who is in the heavens will be merciful to you. And the one who's in the heavens will be merciful to you. That first hadith that I mentioned, man la yurhamu la yurham, man la yarhamu la yurham, that the person who doesn't show mercy unto others, he will not be shown mercy. It comes from a longer narration of a story that was beautiful. قبل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الحسن ابن علي وعنده الأقرع ابن حابس التميمي جالسا فقال الأقرع إن لي 10 من الولد ما قبلت منهم أحد فنظر إليه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم قال من لا يرحم لا يرحم. So that little part of the hadith was the end of a story. The Prophet ﷺ kissed his grandson Al-Hasan ibn Ali alayhi salam radiyallahu anhu. Right? Sayyidina Ali had Hassan and Hussein, right? From Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, the Prophet's daughter. Ali was the Prophet's cousin. So the Prophet ﷺ's progeny and offspring, the Prophet didn't have a son that lived. He had his daughter Fatima who had sons. So his sulala comes from Hassan and Hussein. So if you're a Sayyid, if you're someone who attributes his lineage to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, which is very possible in Morocco, in Yemen, some parts of India even, there's people that are descendants of the Prophet. They're called Sayyid. And a Sayyid is either Hassani or Husseini. You hear of someone, he says, I'm Hassani. You see, that means he's from the progeny or the offspring of Al-Hasan ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib, right? Son of Fatima Zahra, right? Alayhi salam. So the other version is Husseini. And then he'll say, you say, how do you know that? He takes you to a family tree he has in his living room. He says, see this family tree? My great grandfather was Hassan. He said, brother, this is fabricated. This tree, I have the same tree in my house. No, I'm joking. Some of them are truthful. Some of them are truthful. Certain areas of the world, you know it's truthful. But if you go to like certain areas and he's like, oh, I'm a grandson of the prophets. Really? So he kissed his grandson, which is a normal thing. Grandfathers tend to kiss their grandkids, right? So Al-Aqra'u ibn al-Habis al-Tamimi was there. This strong guy was there. His name is Aqra' ibn Habis. He saw this. He saw the Prophet kissing his grandson. So Al-Aqra', he said, I have 10 like that. He goes, I have 10 sons. He goes, إِنَّ لِي 10 مِنَ الْوَلْدِ مَا قَبَّلْتُ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدٍ. He sees the Prophet kiss his grandson. He finds it strange. He goes, what kind of, we're warriors. He goes, I have 10 sons. I never kissed one of them. And the Prophet ﷺ, he just ripped him. He tore him to smithereens. He goes, فَنَظَرَ إِلَيْهِ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. The Prophet stared at him. He's like, what's wrong with this guy? He stared at him. He goes, مَنْ لَا يَرْحَمُ لَا يُرْحَمُ. He goes, he who doesn't show mercy has no mercy. He who doesn't show mercy will not be shown mercy. That's what he's saying. And in another narration of this story, and another narration of the same story, there's another narration, the Prophet ﷺ, he says, what can I do for someone whose heart has been stripped of any type of mercy? So it's a very nice thing to love your brother, to love your sister, to love your grandma, to love your mom, to love your son, your grandson, to show affection. It's very nice. It's Islamic. It's nothing wrong with that. دخلت امرأة النار في هرة ربطتها فلم تطعمها ولم تسقها ولم ترسلها فتأكل من حشاش الأرض. So we said in general you should be merciful to your Muslim brothers and sisters in general, to everyone. The Prophet teaches us not only to human beings, to animals as well. The Prophet, he said, a woman entered Jahannam. دخلت امرأة النار في هرة, due to a cat that she tied up and she did not feed nor give it drink, and she didn't even let it feed for itself. And it ended up starving to death and dying. There's a hadith of a prostitute that sees a dog panting of thirst and she gives it some water, and the Prophet said she entered paradise due to this act that she did. Then there's someone talking about his neighbor, and perhaps this is the same person, saying, oh, she prays and she fasts and she does everything, but she's bad. But she's bad to her neighbors. The Prophet said, what do we want with her salah and her siyam? Like, what good does her salah and siyam do for her? What? Why is she bad to her neighbors? So showing compassion and mercy to human beings and to the creation of Allah. One of the rights that our Muslim brothers and sisters have over us is to keep ourselves clean and presentable. We'll end with this. One of the rights our Muslim brothers and sisters have over us is to keep ourselves clean and presentable. And I love this. I love this so much because many people don't understand this. It is a right of your Muslim brother and sister over you that you don't smell like nicotine, that you don't smell like cigarettes, that you don't smell like body odor, that you don't smell like what you just ate. Come on, man. It's difficult to pray salah when someone next to you smells like a pack of cigarettes. It's difficult. Wallahi, it's difficult. Thank God I lead salah. Thank God. Because when I lead salah, there's no one next to me. I could breathe good. But I prayed today in a masjid. That's not this masjid. I prayed dhuhr today. I was out doing something in a masjid. And I was not leading, so I prayed, and this guy came next to me, and he put his pack of cigarettes in front of him like this, like how I put my phone. And he goes, Allahu Akbar. Wallahi, man, I couldn't breathe. Wallahi, man, I was so mad. I was like, oh. The smell was so strong. It bothered me so much, man. Wash your mouth, put some like cologne on, keep something in the car, care about your Muslim brother. And the person that just ate something and he came in the mosque and he's burping, he's not free of this insult as well. Stop. Like the Prophet, he said in a hadith, qif, I forgot how to say in Arabic, he said, like, keep your burp to yourself. The Prophet said it. They save, like, free us or protect us, stop, save us from your burp, brother. And go burp in the bathroom, brother. We can come to Masala and burp at Fajr. You have people burping at Fajr, like when Fajr, you burp. It doesn't break your wudu, but it breaks our khushu'. Come on, man. Like, it's a right of your Muslim brother or sister over you is to just smell good. Smell good, brother. You go to the masjid after you play basketball, use deodorant. You could put deodorant in your glove compartment. One of the rights our Muslim brothers and sisters have over us is to keep ourselves clean and presentable. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, خمس من الفطرة الختان والاستحداد ونطف الإبط وتقليم الأظافر وقص الشارب. The Prophet said 5 practices are part of the natural disposition. This is a famous hadith. خمس من الفطرة. The Prophet says that there's 5 things that you have to understand. This is from the natural way things should be. Your natural disposition. You should know. Basically, what it means by it's from the fitrah means you should know. You shouldn't have to learn deen to know that this is something you should do. This should be natural. This is cleanliness is a natural thing. It comes natural. So he goes, what are they? 5 practices that are part of the natural disposition. Circumcision, shaving the pubic hair, plucking the armpit hair, trimming nails, and shortening the mustache. And the ahadith in regards to trimming the hair at certain areas, the groin area and under the armpits, the ahadith in this regard are plethora. The Muslim should not be someone who leaves himself dirty. He should take care of himself. He should cut his fingernails. There's a hadith that says you should not go more than 40 days without taking care of yourself in a hygiene way. You should not go more than 40 days. This hadith is often misunderstood. I was teaching a youth class about this topic. The kid goes, Shaykh, isn't it from the sunnah to do it after 40 days? I go, no. The sunnah is to be clean. The sunnah says you better not let 40 days pass without you plucking your armpit hair or cleaning yourself where you need to clean yourself. Some people God creates people in different ways. Some people, their nails grow quickly. Some people, their nails grow slowly. You cut your fingernails when it starts getting long. No one wants to see your dirt in your fingernails. No one wants to see that. It's not attractive. No one wants to see you take your shoe off and like your toenails are long. It's not nice. Islam is a clean religion. So shaving in the appropriate areas that you have to shave, it's not every 40 days, no. It depends on you and your body and how your body works. You keep yourself groomed. That's the Islamic sunnah, is to keep yourself well groomed and well maintained. Plucking armpit hair, trimming the nails, and shortening the mustache for the man. Shortening your mustache, not growing your mustache out. And in the many ahadith, grow the beard, trim the mustache, grow the beard, trim the mustache. The Prophet ﷺ had a fist long beard. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar, he used to grow his beard out to a fist length and then cut under a fist length. Scholars differ how long a beard should be. A man should have a beard. A man should have a beard. Man kana lahu sha'run falyukrimhu. The Prophet also said in regards to his hair, he said, whomsoever has hair, let him honor it. Ikram literally means to honor something. So if you honor your hair, it means you take care of your hair. That's what it basically means. What it means is, he who has hair, let him take good care of it. That's what it properly means. Man kana lahu sha'run falyukrimhu. I honestly, to be honest, I didn't know about this hadith until today. Wallahi, I didn't. I was reading, he doesn't put Arabic in here. That's like the one thing I mentioned that I didn't like about this book, is there's no Arabic. But he puts hadith, Quran, he like quotes this hadith book. But like there's no Arabic. So I looked it up, and this hadith came up. I was shocked. I didn't know about that. Like he who has hair, the Prophet, there's a hadith talking about he who has hair, take care of your hair. Meaning comb your hair. Gel your hair when you have to gel it. Like if it's kind of crazy, gel it. To the degree, put whatever product in your hair. Like put product, no problem. Like take care of your hair. Like he who has hair, honor the hair. Take care of your hair. Don't just leave it like you wait, like you just woke up, you go out and you roll out of bed and go to 7-Eleven. No. Take care of yourself. Following the Prophet, you should be meticulous about your personal hygiene. If you truly follow the Prophet, you should be meticulous about your personal hygiene. Cleanse your mouth and freshen your breath before joining anyone's company or going to the mosque. Allahu Akbar, he said it. السواك مطهرة للفم مرضاة للرب. The Prophet, he said in this regard, he said السواك. السواك is what we call a toothstick. Back then, there's a tree called al-arak. There was a tree called al-arak. It's al-arak, from the arak tree, they make something called siwak. It's a special kind of tree. It's a special kind of gentle tree that smells good. It basically means take a toothbrush, buy Colgate, Arm & Hammer, whatever it is. What's the other one? Crest? There's another one. Signal? No, there's a famous one that's Sensodyne. That's the one. That's the one. Sensodyne? Sensodyne? Or Sensodyne Blue? Yeah, Sensodyne. Use toothpaste. Brush your teeth before you eat, after you eat, whenever you want to brush your teeth. Like, have a good breath. Don't show people like what you ate in your teeth. السواك مطهرة للفم مرضاة للرب. So back then the siwak was the toothbrush. If the Prophet was with us today, he would tell us 100%, I have no doubt, brush your teeth. He would tell us. So the question always comes, but is it sunnah to use siwak? Yes, absolutely. It's still a sunnah to use siwak. Absolutely. Is it a sunnah to brush your teeth? Yes, it is. If your sunnah is to clean your mouth, yes, it is a sunnah. Is it a specific sunnah to use a toothbrush? No. But if the Prophet was here, he would say brush your teeth. If the Prophet was here, he'd say if you have a headache, use Motrin, 600 milligrams. People don't understand this. Like, oh, prophetic medicine. I only use prophetic medicine. Brother, if the Prophet was here, he'd say, use the medicine that's here, brother. He would say, use the medicine. So siwak mataratun lil-fam. He says that siwak is purifying to the mouth and it pleases the Lord. And the ahadith in regards to the miswak are a lot, and the scholars differ. The Shafi'i and Hanafi madhab, the Hanbali, the Maliki madhab, they differ. They differ because there's a hadith that says he who stands for salah should use siwak, meaning you should purify your mouth when you go to salah. That's what it basically means. The goal of the hadith, the ultimate goal of the hadith is to make sure you're clean when you go to prayer. Like the guy that came to pray next to me, he smelled like a pack of Parliament Reds. He should have washed his mouth or put mints or something. So the scholars, they differ on the meaning of the hadith exactly. Is it to use the siwak when you're lined up in the line, which kind of sometimes is annoying because if I see someone doing that next to me, it's kind of nasty. Or does it mean to do it when you're making wudu? The Hanafis and the Malikis, they said, no, this hadith means that when you make wudu, you use siwak. You use siwak as you're making your wudu. You don't have to do it on the line. The Shafis and Hanbali said, no, the hadith is apparent. Look what it says. It says that every salah you do siwak. Difference of opinion. The goal is the same. Be clean. When you go pray salah, be clean. Like I said, I'm going to end here. So, putting on perfume is recommended for men. Yani smelling good and putting on perfume is recommended for men. Perfume here, the Prophet time it was the utur and stuff and the oud, right? Women can use perfume in the privacy of their beautiful homes or around their beautiful families and around other beautiful women. Women can use perfume in the privacy of their homes or around their family or around other women. A woman shouldn't use perfume to garner attention from a man. It's haram. It will be haram for a woman to use perfume in order to have a man smell her and notice her. Greeting other believers cheerfully and initiating the greeting to them. We'll stop here because this is a lot and I want to go in on it. This is really nice. There's another 5 pages we have left. greeting other believers cheerfully, and initiating the greeting to them is where we're going to stop. And there's a lot to be said. Because that's social conduct. Greeting other believers cheerfully and initiating the greeting to them is where we're going to stop. There's a lot to be said there. Inshallah, we'll stop there for today. Does anyone have a question? Yes. No, I understand the question. It's a good question. I'm going to answer it now. But I want to end the live stream.